So Asami's the girl.
Uh-huh.
Ayoma is the guy.
Ayoma.
Mm-hmm.
And what was his son's name? Like
what are you about to say?
I don't know.
What are you about to say?
Shikanami? Yeah. I don't know. Whatever.
It's
Shik Ultra.
It's Shigehiku.
Shigehiku?
Yeah, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong.
I'm just saying Shigeku.
Shigeku.
Oh, Shige? That's cool. Okay.
3, 2, 1. A return to another. Return. Well, I guess I'm returning.
Yeah, you're returning
to another episode of Mofos with a Long Podcast.
You already fucking know.
Mm-hmm. You have to take a short hiatus because of work.
Yeah.
And it sucked too because we had like this whole plan mapped out about horror movies. And that shit got did immediately.
Yeah. And then I was like, I'll do it with Darby. And then that shit hit a roadblock. So I apologize. I laid out a plan for y'all of how it was going to go.
Yeah.
Shit went down in my personal and professional life. And so I just wasn't able to make it happen. I apologize. But we're here now, and that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
And
sorry, go on. I was going to say, like, this movie. Yeah. I was going to say, this movie is one of our leftovers from that plan that we had mapped out, right? The movie we're doing today is Audition. I picked this one, and
let them know right off the bat you picked it.
I was gonna apologize to you. So I picked it, and the reason why is because I think I've mentioned this in a earlier episode how for some reason like the mid 2000s Bravo had like a top 100 scariest movies list.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and that's how I knew about Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. And this was on that list, and it had one of the scenes, and the scene that we'll talk about later, but like there was like a bag moving once the phone rang and shit.
Oh
yeah, they had that. They were like, oh man, this shit's so scary. It's like a classic and shit like that. So I was like, I was like, okay, let me see what this is all about, you know?
Okay.
And that's why I was kind of adamant to see it, because I've heard about this movie all these years.
I got you.
And watching it, this is going to be like just basically laying out there. Watching it, I was like, man, these motherfuckers lied to me. Like this shit fucking sucks, dude, in my opinion. It's more boring than anything.
It tried to do some things, but then like it just so like one of my big like pet peeves with movies is has always been like predictability, right? And it's like when you can always see the next fucking thing coming, and it's just like, oh come on, like of course you're gonna do that shit, of course you're gonna do that shit, like okay, we get it. I already knew how it was gonna go beforehand. This movie, I had no fucking clue what was coming next because it was just so off the wall. But like, it wasn't unpredictable in a good way. If that makes sense. Like, I don't know. So I may have to retract that whole pet peeve of shit being too predictable. Because like,
see, I wanted to know your opinion because I kind of knew going in what to expect, while you didn't.
Yeah,
you know, so I would definitely like to hear.
As hell
I would like to know more, like what you thought. But like, so you know, we're introduced to what's it called? Ayoma. Ayoma and his son, and we kind of get like a small background about, you know, it's like the Disney shit. The mom dies in the beginning. You know how in Disney movies the mom's always dead, but never see her die. But this one you kind of see her die. But so, and I blame his son. I think his son set this shit into motion.
Oh yeah,
because they were fishing, remember? And he's like, hey dad, you need to get laid. You're looking old. His dad's like, you know what, son? You need to get laid.
I mean, I wouldn't blame his son. I mean, like, if I was gonna blame anybody, I would blame his friend, the director.
Yeah.
They don't even give him a name. I don't think.
Yeah, he's just the director.
Are you
man.
sure? Like they didn't give him a name the whole time.
I don't remember him saying a name.
Yeah.
And I tried looking the cast up, and it just said director.
It just says the director. Man.
I kind of feel like the director tried to help him out.
He did, but like in a very that whole scheme was sleazy.
Oh,
like, if we're being
audition?
real,
Yeah, the audition.
that was sleazy.
That's kind of
like setting
weird.
up the audition to like get girls and stuff. So like, I'm not gonna say that they deserved what came of it, but that whole setup was sleazy.
Yeah, it's like you know how they have like casting couches nowadays? They just had a casting
Oh,
chair. You know, just one chair.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, and like even to the point that one girl came off and just show her titties. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and you know the guy, the actor's like, save her number. We're going to use it for something else. But yeah, so Ayoma, he's lonely after, you know, I guess it's been like, well, a couple years, not even a couple, maybe like more than 10.
Yeah, because
his son is in high
his
school.
son was like, yeah, a little kid, and then all of a sudden he sprouted.
And yeah, so you can tell he's lonely. He wants like a girl. So yeah, him and his friend, the director, I guess they were directing like maybe movies or they produce movies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they kind of use this plan to use Audition to get, you know, girls from the movie and also girls, you know, that he might like. And yeah, so that's kind of like it. So at the first hour,
well, can I?
Yeah, it could
happen. One thing that was unclear to me: did they know beforehand that the movie was gonna fail?
No, it seemed like they didn't.
Okay, because like that's what she was accusing him of. Was basically like later on in the movie, she was saying like, "Oh, you made up a movie that doesn't exist or whatever." And so I was like, "Well, how true is that claim?" Because for a minute there, it seemed like they were legit. Like, we're gonna make this script. It's a good script. We're moving forward. We're just gonna go ahead, and then like all of a sudden, it just didn't get backing.
Yeah, it seemed like it's like the you know how the movie world is when it comes to like production and all that stuff. Yeah, because they said that it got turned down because of the script or something didn't seem good enough to actually go forward with filming. I think that's what he mentioned.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they weren't interested in the script because like. I don't know.
They never really go into what the movie's about, really.
Right, yeah.
So we just kind of see the audition and stuff like that. The audition part was entertaining, kind of like a mini montage of seeing just different people. You know how we talk about the girl stripping and shit. But then you could jump in too, because I definitely want to know your opinion. So the first hour, I was really intrigued because I thought it was doing that thing of like, okay, they're setting up kind of the characters, which they were. Then it came to a point after like the first hour, it started to get kind of weird because that's when the director started noticing weird stuff about the girl. What's her name? Asami. Yeah, Asami. Yeah. But then I kind of wanted it to shift, and it never did until that last like 30 minutes, or like last 30 minutes, and I was like, damn man, like I waited all this for like. This is what these assholes were talking about this whole time. Like the whole time I was so mad. Like, you motherfuckers talk about how scary this shit was. And it wasn't even like, to me, that big of a deal. And maybe because I'm desensitized now, because it might have been original back then. I could see how it led on to like the mid-2000s torture porn type shit.
Yeah.
But watching it and see, like for me, I feel like I'm jaded because the way these guys talked up this movie, I expected some crazy shit.
There was some disturbing content. I'll say that, like a lot of the, and that's another thing too about this movie.
Yeah,
it's like, are we seeing what he assumes happened to her?
Yeah,
or like when she was a kid, or like does he have insight? Is this something that only we know? Is this like what she's remembering? Like a lot of that stuff was very unclear.
Yeah, like the last 30 minutes of vision he has.
Yeah, like that whole. Yeah.
So I watched it again to see because I was like, okay. Before this movie had no supernatural elements, right? But with the vision, you're basically introducing a supernatural element because I had to watch it again to see whether he went to those places, to see like the bag and everything, you know, and he never did. So I'm like, how would he have a vision about something he never saw?
Right.
Pertaining to her. So it's like, I was confused. The whole time I was confused. Like, I was like, I may have missed something. You know.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, I don't think I did either.
Because I was confused as fuck. Because like, okay, so one, he goes and where does he visit first? He visits the bar first.
Yeah, the bar.
The bar, and the dude tells him like about like the extra
tongue and ears and stuff like that.
Did he say feet too?
I think he just said like fingernails.
Oh, okay.
And maybe too.
Because I don't remember if he said anything about the feet or not. But then like so then I'm like curious. Did he went to the dancing school? Mm-hmm. He went to the ballet school.
Mm-hmm. He saw the guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah. Was that real?
It seemed like it was.
Because it was like.
Yeah.
I don't know if like there was like not. I don't know how to say this without it coming off like. Not racist, but like nationalist.
Okay, let's
I guess like I don't know what was going on in Japan cinema. And maybe like something that happens when I watch a lot of like Korean dramas is they have like a lot of like very common ghost stories or like lore. Like specific to their region. That someone watching from Japan would just automatically know. Oh, they're referencing this thing that everybody knows about in Japan, but us as like Westerners watching, we're like,
I know what you mean.
So like I was thinking maybe like someone from Japan would have more insight into this than we would because maybe they know of a more common lore than we do.
Leave that in the comments if that's something we're missing. You know, like some extra context. But I know what you mean because it's like the same thing for like have you ever heard of that anime Bleach?
I've heard of it. I haven't actually sat down and watched it. I've definitely watched Death Note.
Okay, yeah. So you know how they both have Shinigamis. So I wouldn't have known if I didn't like kind of watch both of them. I kind of had like subtitles to know that's the god of death. But over there, that's kind of like a well-known thing.
Shinigamis
are god of death. Yeah.
Interesting. So I thought like that was something that like Death Note just kind of made.
Oh no, so
that's
Shinigamis.
That's just a common thing.
Yeah, that's a common thing because they had Shinigamis in Bleach.
Okay.
Then I think in another anime, Rurouni Kenshin, they mentioned Shinigami too. So that's just like a well-known thing over there, the god of death.
Okay.
So that it's like it's kind of like how you're saying. Like if I didn't see the subtitles or kind of see both of those animes, I would have been just like, okay, this is just kind of characters you created for this show,
Right.
But seeing all those kind of three and it mentioned kind of made me forced to do some research to realize, okay, that's kind of like a common maybe trope or not even trope, but that's like a common culture or lore that they have over there. So I know what you mean. Like with this, it's like maybe they introduce some things that we just as Westerners would not understand, but over there, like you said exactly, like over there, it's common knowledge. And it's also too because they mention in the beginning a couple of times in different things like Japan is lonely. Like that's like a kind of a theme they had in the movie. They were like kind of like criticizing Japan at that time. So it's like that's something I also kind of felt disconnected about because I don't know how Japan was at that time. That they were maybe doing kind of social commentary about the status of like where Japan was and social stuff was happening. So maybe I don't know if it will help the movie. Honestly, I don't think it will. It will just kind of maybe give more context to maybe like an extra theme that they might underlying thing that they might have. Because that might be something too that they have. It's like maybe it was just kind of showing like maybe at the time dating in Japan was hard or who knows,
Right.
Yeah. So, but you got any more things you want to?
Oh no, yeah. Well, I mean, like, because that the reason I bring that up is like that maybe there was common because like I was like maybe there's like a common like ghost thing
I see what you mean.
that we would have like had to have known about to understand like what happened at the school when he went, or something like that. Because that was to me was just like off the wall, and so like I guess the thing I just kind of made up right now is like I mean if we had mentioned like a chupacabra or something like that, like especially here in Texas, like everybody would know what the fuck you're talking about, like a chupacabra. But like I'm sure you go to another country that like that.
Yeah,
like what the fuck is a chupacabra?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Or chupa what?
Chupa means what?
Yeah, but I know. I see what you mean. But But like you were saying, it has some disturbing imagery, which it did like the last half hour.
Yeah.
That's when a lot of like it's disturbing shit. Even though they were slowly introducing it first with the I find that kind of funny when he went to the bar I guess she said she worked at, and the guy told him the story, and he kind of like pictured the tongue flapping on his head, and he freaks out. Then he looks at the guy, then he freaks out again. So I'm like, what did he see? Like, did he finally notice like how ugly the dude was or something? I thought like they were about to like maybe pan, because they were showing the guy talking to him from like the back. So I thought they're going to like pan out and maybe show like it's a ghost or something's fucked up about the guy. Then the guy just leaves, and I was like, so why did you freak out when you saw? Like, you were just talking to him, right? Then he's like, ah. Then he looks at the guy, he's like, oh, and I'm like, so what did you see? That you freaked out again. Because imagine from that guy's point of view, right? You see this guy freaks out, then he freaks out again. It's like what is going on? Is this guy on drugs or something, you know? Yeah, that's why it kind of started with the disturbing imagery. Then we see the guy that looks like a fucking Sekiro character, the one that was in a wheelchair, that they cut off like his toes or something, like his feet. And even before that, this is the scene that they were talking about, that Bravo countdown. It was a scene where she was waiting by the phone, and when it rings, the bag shakes. And see, for me, I was expecting that. So for you, how did you feel seeing that scene? Did that scare you? Did that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I felt like it was human shaped, you know. Like there was someone in there. What got me about that, what made me even curious about like the whole setting, is like, one, do we even figure out where the fuck that is?
No, we never do.
Like where she stays at. Like no, I was like, at first I was trying to put it together because I was trying to do some detective work. I was like, does she stay at the school? Nah, he would have seen some shit indicating she stays at the school. And then also the number's different because he mentioned to the dude, he's like, yeah, I tried calling, no one answered. Or whatever. And then he would have noticed the number was the same or something like that, you know.
It was strange too. Like the timeline also didn't make sense too, because like in the beginning of the movie, right, they kind of introduced that Asami girl, but not as the way we kind of see like an adult. When they first show her, they show her as a kid, just waiting by the phone in that same apartment, in that same place. But they showed her the same time this guy was like in the car listening to a radio, and they're talking about the hero, like the female hero, and stuff like that. Then it kind of like he was listening to it. That I think that's another underlying theme they had in the movie, because she mentioned that too later on, like how she's like the hero in the story and stuff like that. And they show her listening to that same radio program, but she's a kid at that time. So it's like, are they trying to say she, after the abuse I'm guessing she suffered, she never kind of grew up past that certain age?
Maybe she's avenging like her kid self.
Yeah.
For like the things that happened to her as a kid, like seeking out people that she thinks fall under like the same category, the people that hurt her as a kid.
Yeah.
So like that was a kind of a theme like I kind of saw, which is like we kind of see like he doesn't necessarily fall into that category. She kind of makes assumptions about his character and what his motivations are. And like decides that he falls under the category of the guys that she's kind of, I guess, devoted her life to hunting.
Yeah. This is like her MO.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess in that way she probably does view herself as like a protagonist.
Yeah, she mentioned that at the ending, kind of. Everything starts like flipping around. I guess when they made love at that one scene. And I to me that was scarier than the scene with the bag, because one where they're making out, then he falls over and there's like this loud thud and there's just like shaking. So I was like, man, she fucked him that hard. So you know, like you don't remember that scene?
Oh,
At the hotel or something.
yeah. Oh, and then like
he falls over all groggy. He wakes up all like messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell happened? You know, like he hasn't been laid that much in years that he just got fucked up from like one session. Or like whether she did something to him. Like I thought she maybe performed like some surgery or something, like, because he acted like he was drugged or something, you know, like he seemed groggy and not knowing where he was at and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then that's where it kind of starts becoming more weird.
That whole scene, it was very like, I get the, you know, like the whole point is not that they slept together, or to really be that graphic with the sex scene, but like the way that they transitioned from like it's about to go down to like he's waking up after was like almost immediate, because like I think like the sheets turned, and then that was it, and then like, but it was all, it seemed like the same shot.
It's the same shot,
and so that confused me, because I was like, the sheets turn over, and it looks like, I'm like, okay, are we watching
them do it
or like and then so like the sheets turn, and then he's like, you know, and so, but we know that they did because he tells his friend about it later,
and he tells the guy in a wheelchair too, I think.
Well, the guy in the wheelchair,
assumed.
That guy was weird.
Yeah,
that guy was really fucking weird. Because I don't think they come and outright say it, but I think they're alluding to like
abuse.
Well, they definitely show physical abuse, but they kind of allude to sexual abuse as well. They don't come and outright say it, but there's like a lot of like clues here and there. Yeah.
I wonder, because this is based on a book.
Is it?
Yeah. I just found out recently. So I wonder if the book goes in more detail, and maybe hopefully the book makes more sense. But sorry to cut you off, like how you're saying they were alluding to a lot of like abuse that she may have suffered. That guy was weird, and like you said, it was a very harsh transition in that scene, with the hotel and stuff like that. And it's almost like it's almost like it's the movie kind of telling the viewers this is where everything shifts. Yeah, you know, because it's so harsh. Yeah. Then after that, that's when everything becomes weird.
He should have just listened to his friends.
Yeah, I swear, that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like the director was helping him out.
He knew from the jump, like, he's like, something's not right.
Yeah, from the get-go, man. Like, I wanted to say, is this a movie about a simp? But then I was like, no, because at this position, he's not really simping. He's just somebody that hasn't been out for a while, you know? So I can't really consider him simping, because even though his friend may have, like, warned him, but to him, he hasn't seen anything wrong, you know?
Right, yeah.
So I can't call it simping, because he just got fucked over. But like at some point, after the weirdness, like how you said, the director told him, like, don't chase her, don't go look for her, let it go. That's where he starts fucking up, because he's like, he has to go find out why and stuff like that. But it's like, at that point, there's so many clues that's weird. I would have just like let it go. But I feel like at that point, she's already made him a target. So no matter what he does, it was game over.
That's what I was gonna say. The moment that they slept together was the moment that she decided they made the film to find girls to sleep with, which is not necessarily the true intent. And that's why I had to get some clarification on that, because like to me it seemed like we're making a film and we're gonna go ahead and with the film and what you know, it'll be a good chance to introduce you to people, which is still sleazy. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, it's a little sleazy, but it's not exactly like he doesn't fall under her MO. Yeah. Like he seemed like a good person, you know. Yeah, it just kind of seemed like misguided or not desperate, but somebody that's lonely. He mentioned that. Yeah, because even he said when they were setting up the audition, he's like, "This seems kind of criminal." Or something to that effect.
I have to go back and see whether maybe that's something you could put, like, maybe if we're wrong about like the intent of the movie. Yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to go back and see whether that was the actual intent, or they actually had like a movie they were going to film.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we could kind of talk more about Division. Divisions, that's when it actually become interesting to me. But to me, it came so late that I just kind of like, I would never, I guess I'm kind of giving it away, but like, I can't recommend this movie to somebody, you know, because it's just too long to get there. But
this movie was really fucking, it was like 2...
Yeah, it was like almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it felt like it too, man. Then,
by the way, is if you got AMC Plus, it's on there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you didn't go through my bootleg?
I
FBI
tried.
Warnings?
I tried, but then like my phone wouldn't like full screen it.
Oh, okay.
Like back button, like scrolls thing kept
kept blocking it, yeah.
And then I was like, let me see if it's somewhere. And so like I just looked for it on Amazon.
Okay.
And that's where I have my AMC Plus add-on.
Oh, okay.
And then so yeah, it came up as like, yeah, you have it because of AMC Plus, and I was like, oh, well, let me just do that, and then that scroll bar went away.
Oh, okay.
So, because I would have been missing like the
last
whatever. Not that it really matters. I'm sure like they don't have a lot of focal point on like the far left of the camera. But
speaking of the camera, one thing I noticed is like this has the same look as other international 90s movies. Even though it came out, I think it came out 2000. But I think it was filmed like in the late 90s. And it kind of looks like the Spanish version of like Open Your Eyes. They kind of have that same look.
Okay.
Yeah, like it didn't really do a lot of things. I mean, not that I did anything wrong, but like they didn't really do like a lot of things that stood out to me when it comes to cinematography.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It was kind of like, not that it
wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was just kind of bland. Yeah, like not a lot of interesting camera choices.
No.
I did like the way that the shot was framed when she was waiting by the phone. I did think that was a good shot with like the bag, kind of setting up that the bag is important, but that she's waiting by the phone, and then as soon as the phone rings, she like starts grinning. But it's just like the whole time, what does she do? She just waits by the phone.
She just waits, yeah.
Like, I don't know.
That's
kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely strange. She just sits there. But the weird thing too is like when they went out on a date, she didn't even lie. She's like, I've been waiting for your call. It's like, we've seen it. That's what she's been doing, literally. So she's not really lying there.
Yeah.
But kind of skipping forward to the vision, and once it starts getting like interesting, that's something else too. The first time I watched it, I didn't even notice, but there was like a shot of like, it almost seems like a POV shot of the guy's house.
Oh, where she's like going through.
Yeah, at first I didn't notice that because I kind of just blanked out the first time I watched it. So I was confused the first time I watched, like, how did she know where he lives? Like, how did she know all that stuff? But then I watched it again. I saw like the POV shot and the son talking on the phone that he's going to be gone for a while and stuff like that. It's like, okay, it makes sense.
So she knew when the time to strike was.
Yeah.
And then so she put the sedative in the decanter.
Yeah.
But she kind of got a feel that like, okay, he always comes and drinks from this decanter, so like she could bet on the fact that he was gonna go home and take a drink.
Yeah. And it worked too. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, once he's
that motherfucker killed the dog.
Did she?
That dog had nothing to do with it.
She did?
She did. You see the dog like kind of
run out.
Like no. Well, while she's going through, but then later on, like after he's paralyzed, you see in a doorway to another room, like the dog is like on the ground.
Oh, okay, damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah, and I was like, that dog had nothing.
Yeah, not the livestock. No,
I was like, I mean, like, not to say that any of what she did is okay, but like, I see her twisted logic in why she feels like she needs to target this fool. But why the dog?
Oh yeah, you already mentioned you're sensitive when it comes to animal cruelty in movies.
Yeah, I'm like, why you gotta fuck with the dog, bro? Like, that dog did shit to nobody but look cute the whole movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And you gotta fuck him up. I was like,
yeah, R.I.P. dog. Damn, dude, the last movie I did with you, there was another dog getting murked too. I gotta stop watching movies.
Which one?
Man. Remember, what's it called? Boring All the Time?
Oh,
yeah. What, the devil all the time?
Worrying all the time.
Yeah,
no, I really gotta fuck with the dogs, bro.
We gotta start watching movies together because there's always animal cruelty in the movies we watch. Because remember, oh brother, we're out down the livestock out fucking murked.
I'm not gonna lie. Oh brother, where art, that was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, I mean that was funny.
It was still like animal cruelty, but they made it kind of funny.
They fucking unloaded it on the fucking cows.
I hate cows.
Yeah. One thing I hate more than coppers and cows is just fucking spraying the cows. Then my favorite part is when, I'm sorry, it's another movie, but when the cow ran into the street and the fucking cop car, it looks so heavy when the cop car hit the cow.
They did a great job. No, yeah, like even Violet was like, did they really hit a cow? I was like, no, it was like special effects or something.
No, you could have fooled me, man. They used the real cow, man. But yeah, going back to this movie, the vision scene, yeah, it was just, it was good and it was bad. It was good in the fact that because there's actually something interesting happening.
Mm-hmm.
The bad thing was just like it just took me out immediately because like storyline wise, this makes no sense to me.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like,
exactly.
So the whole time I was like, how do you know there's a bag here?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that this guy's missing an ear and all those limbs that they mentioned? You've never seen it. Like personally, so like, how do you know these things? The whole time, I was so confused.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to figure out. Like, is there like, cause he's there wherever she stays.
Yeah, she stays.
But like in reality, he's on the floor paralyzed. So I'm just like, yeah, I was taken aback. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? And then, so like. Yeah, he shows up there, and then he's at the ballet school watching the
creepy dude.
Yeah, the creepy dude get his head cut off.
Yeah.
With the piano wire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he sees that dude come out the bag in her apartment, and then like get fed like a dog. Or whatever.
Was that with puke or was that milk?
I don't know what it looked like. What is it called? Is it called gruel?
No, okay. Because at first I thought she was like puking over, because you remember when he was like yelling.
Oh, maybe it
then she was like by the faucet. So I thought she was like puking and feeding him her puke.
Oh, maybe it was.
So but it looked so liquidy that I was like, okay, maybe it's milk. I don't know, but it just kind of looked like she was hurling over. Yeah, it was gross.
I don't know. Yeah, and so I'm like, is this real? Is this not real? Like, obviously it can't be real because he's like on the ground paralyzed in his place. So what the fuck is this? Like, I don't understand. Like, does he have some kind of psychic connection?
Yeah.
That, like, I was thinking like maybe that. And then they start going into like the whole torture thing, and then all of a sudden his son comes in. Like after she's already done like fucked him up.
Yeah, with the foot.
Yeah, she fucked up his foot. She did all the pins in the stomach and like under the eyes and shit or whatever. She gave him another shot with a syringe, I guess in the tongue.
Yeah.
Maybe was she like numbing his tongue?
Yeah, I think to cut it off.
But she didn't end up cutting it off just yet.
No, because the son came in and interrupted everything.
Yeah.
Now that we're in a torture scene, now I do see how influential it was to like the future, like movies like Saw and Hostel and shit like that. Because they said, I read somewhere Eli Roth was like inspired by this movie. So I can see how maybe why it has such a claim is because maybe at the time there wasn't a movie like this, like torture porn or torture scene that's kind of this explicit. Maybe it was like one of its kind. So maybe that's why it's stuck with people because, it's something new.
Yeah, at that like time. They had never seen like a close-up torture scene to that extent.
Yeah, to that extent, and it's still like kind of like realistic. And it's another thing too at that scene is like, oh, this is why I think practical effects are really good because it still holds up to this day. Like when she was sawing off the foot and stuff.
Yeah, no, it definitely didn't look fake. It looked.
It looked real to me.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. So that's one thing, like one plus I'll give, like when it got to the torture and everything, like it did look real.
Yeah, look authentic.
The head rolling off the body at the school, not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it got to like they're in his living room, that part looked pretty real. So that's one plus.
Yeah.
And then it goes like and the one plus that it had from the torture, they go right and like throw that right out the window too, because like then the son comes in and then it cuts to them being back at the hotel.
Yeah.
And then them laying there. So I was like, oh, did he make all this up? Are they really just chilling in the hotel again or whatever? And then she's like, yeah, your proposal, I'll marry you or whatever.
And he's like, fuck that, man.
He's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, it goes back to like her being behind the son. And then, like, rather than like knock him over the head with something, she's spraying some
like
shit.
mace.
Like, was it mace?
I think so. Yeah.
That didn't come out like mace.
No,
that came out like perfume.
Yeah.
I was like, what you gonna fucking Axe body spray this full to death, bro? Like,
I want your bots spray.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
And he run up the stairs and
she's like spraying. Yeah.
Down the fucking stairs. And then, so I was like, was it foreshadowing? Because didn't she say she, like, broke her hip falling down the stairs? And that's why she could never dance again or something like that?
But who knows if that's real, though.
True.
But yeah, maybe. I don't remember that line, but I won't be surprised if that's what she said.
So I was like, maybe that's foreshadowing. Because, like, there was a lot of weird, like, time stuff. And so I was like, yeah, maybe this is foreshadowing. Or, like, maybe the dude in the bag was, like, him but not really him, you know, or something. I don't know. You
just want kind of like some explanation to piece what you just saw.
Really? Yeah. I wanted to make sense of it all because I wanted to like it. I wanted to like the movie, but like at no point it just didn't seem very coherent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't.
Like I saw a lot of ideas. But they were all just kind of thrown together in this like amalgamation of just like weird shit that like didn't go together.
Yeah. I guess that's another thing too that surprised me with the people back then, because like how you're saying, it seemed like a drama, and that's another thing too. I don't think this movie is a horror movie. I think it's more of a thriller.
I'd say more of a thriller.
Yeah, so it's kind of like how, to me, I kind of consider this the same kind of like wheelhouse's Jaws in a way. Now I'm saying like they're the same movie. I'm just saying, you know how people consider Jaws a horror movie and scary movie back then? We see it now. It's just a thriller movie with a fucking shark, you know? So back then, I guess they saw this as a horror movie. To us now, because I guess we've seen much crazier shit, it's not a horror movie to us. It's just kind of a weird thriller that has like at least one like disturbing scene. But I don't feel like it's enough to consider a horror movie.
Well, it's got a couple scenes.
A couple disturbing?
Yeah, like the because they actually did bring in like an actress, like a little girl actress for like part of it.
Oh
and that part was like
the burning and stuff like that.
That part was disturbing as fuck. I saw some like different. I don't know if I read it wrong, but another idea that they seem to introduce in his normal life, like before shit hits the fan, and it's kind of like some of it's before he meets her, some of it is after, but like introducing the fact that this is not a guy who can't get a woman.
Yeah.
That he's got women that are interested in him.
Like the caretaker or
the caretaker and then the lady at work. They're both, the lady at work is soon to be married, and it seemed like if I was reading the situation right, she wanted him to say something about like, no, don't get married. Or you know, like, because I want you or whatever. Because the way that she kind of hung around kind of gave me that vibe, and I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be reading this scene this way, but that's the vibe I was getting.
I read the same thing. Yeah.
And then also with the caretaker, she's like, man, I wish my husband worked as hard as you so I wouldn't have to work. And then she's like, oh, but you probably already have like a
kind of like fishing for something.
Yeah, like you're kind of already seeing someone, aren't you? And she's like, of course you are.
Yeah.
And so I was like introducing the idea that like he's not someone that's like not sought after. Like people do want to be with him to some degree, but they're like with other people already.
Yeah,
so
it's not confusing.
Yeah, and that was confusing too. So like I saw the idea, but the fact that they're already with other people just kind of like
it
sullies the idea.
Yeah, so it's like even them introducing that, they kind of deaden it too because it's a nice guy as we're seeing. It's not he's going to pursue people that are taken.
Right,
what they've introduced. So it's like if they're even trying to introduce him like, oh, this guy's blind to see affection from other women. It's like, well, you didn't do a good job of that because you're saying this women are taken. So he can't do anything about it.
If you would have introduced like other women that were single, and said like, oh, he would have had a shot with these women if he would have seen what was in front of him, then that would have kind of driven home their point a little more. If that was the point that they were even trying to make.
I think so because they mentioned like his son mentions like he's blind not because of love because he's seen as a woman.
Yeah,
he's love, and when he's having a vision. He kind of envisions the woman that hung around at the work.
Yeah.
Too. So it's like,
well, he went through a lot of different people in that vision because he went through his wife, the woman at work, his son's girlfriend, and then back to Asami.
So it's like, what are they even trying to introduce there?
Yeah. Her philosophy was kind of weird too. Like, I mean, obviously, but like the whole when you're in excruciating pain, you see who you really are or whatever. I was like that. I mean, like, okay, we've already established that she's fucking crazy, but like that whole mentality, like that, I was like, no, that's not true at all. Like, kind of taking it back to like, okay, yeah, when you are in a situation that like you're in extreme pain, you go into like animalistic mode, but that's your survival instincts kicking in. Like that's not your
fight or flight, right?
Yeah, that's not an indication of who you are. That's just like
that's just your body trying to make it,
Yeah,
trying to make it through. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just to show how deranged she is and stuff like that. But yeah, when you mentioned earlier, when it shifts to him being at that hotel again with her and with the proposal, dude, I was like, fuck this movie. Like all this and it's all a dream sequence thing. I was like, it makes sense, but at the same time, it's like you're telling me all that I just witnessed didn't happen. Then when it switched back, I was like, man, fuck this movie, because it's like what's going on here? Like, what are you guys doing? Like how you were saying. And when he kicks her off when the son kicks Asami off the staircase and she falls and breaks her neck, it was so weird because she landed already. Then there's like something just bulging out down her neck,
Maybe it was like how do you like internal bleeding?
Maybe like a reaction, but because of how violent, because it did like it was like a harsh sound, and you see her neck just bulge up. So I expected like a creature to just burst out her neck or down her mouth, Because at this point, it's like, I don't know what the fuck this movie is anymore.
Yeah, I kind of got the same thing. Yeah. And so I was like, is something going to come out of her?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, because nothing ever came of it, like, I kind of chalked it up to like, okay, maybe they're like doing some like type of internal bleeding.
Yeah, maybe.
Like blood that's supposed to be flowing somewhere is now like free flowing in her body or something like that.
It just seems so late how it happened.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but... But sorry. But I mean, the torture scene was good because it was definitely creepy because they made it kind of realistic too, and it was kind of like silent, so you just hear the noises and the pain. So it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I really like the shot where after she chopped us the foot, she just kind of throws it by the window just to show how like to her, it's nothing. She's just it's just like a toy. She's just playing a game.
Yeah.
While to somebody watches like, damn, like you're like fucking this person up, So they do a good job. I would make, like you said, the one plus thing, they do a good job with the torture scene. That's like the only positive I could give this movie, man.
And it's so fucked up to say, like, that's like one of the only things that did like really well with the movie. But like, I mean, really, if there was supposed to be the jump scare with the bag, it didn't hit.
Oh, okay, so
I'm sorry. Like I said, I liked the shot initially, the setup where she's like by the phone or whatever. The jump with the bag, no, it didn't hit.
I'm glad you said that, because for me, like I said, I already knew what's coming, so I can't really. It wasn't going to hit me because I already saw it in their whole countdown shit. But so the fact that it didn't hit for you shows like, okay, maybe it was just kind of a weak execution.
Yeah. Great setup, weak execution. What else? I was gonna talk about another point, but I kind of forgot.
Do you know what's involving?
Okay. So, kind of what I got from it. I wanted to see your opinion on it. Because after she falls down and she's kind of like sitting there dying, she starts like repeating a lot of the stuff that she said to him, like while they were being
the beginning stage
of them meeting up and stuff like that. It seemed to me that like an automatic response, like these are things that she's rehearsed with other people that she's got into this situation.
Okay,
so she's kind of like auto playing lines that basically like she's, like I said, she's rehearsed.
So do you think that kind of plays to the whole audition thing?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, kind of like she puts on a character to audition so that these guys will want to be with her, because the last one was like a record label dude or
yeah
that I'm assuming what happened there is like she like
that's like her ML.
Yeah, like that maybe like he slept with her, and then it seemed like she killed both of them.
Yeah,
or
because they found extra like.
Well, I guess not killed because she had him as a pet, kind of.
Yeah, I guess.
So she killed the wife, and then
captured the guy.
Captured the
Yeah. I would like to read the book, just to see if it goes more into it, And I hate to compare this to another movie, but like, you know how we saw American Psycho? I feel like that does a good job of like more cohesion, and maybe because they were following Patrick Bateman, so we're able to see. We don't know how he ticks, but we kind of get like an understanding. Or we can kind of like just see how he is as a person. So maybe I can't compare it because with this one, we're not really following her. We're following Ayama, but yeah, it just, I wish this movie was more cohesive, and I just kind of like the setup was good. It just never, the execution, it just came too late, and by that point I already checked out, because it came so late, So I kind of wish like maybe they could have done that stuff earlier, but yeah, I don't really have much more to talk about this movie. I could give my rating, honestly. I'll give it like a 4 severe toes out of 10. Because it's just like, I know I'm being harsh, and I can admit I'm being jaded too because of like the Bravo list, and I can also say I'm being jaded too because I'm at the other side of what this movie's introduced. So I'm at the other side where I've seen Saw, I've seen Hostel, I've seen the Collector. So like the last 15 minutes of this movie, it's not, while it is uncomfortable, it's not surprising to me anymore. Like it's not something that's shocking. So I could, for that, like I could see how into it kind of like the legacy kind of led on to these type of movies, but like I would never recommend this movie to somebody because it just takes so long. And it's like the whole time I was just waiting for something to happen to see why this movie is one of the greats. And I was like, besides the torture scene, I don't see why this is a fucking legendary movie.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I give it a 4.
No. Yeah. I was actually because I had that number in my head as well. and I was like, am I being too harsh? But the fact that like you came out and also said 4, like kind of solidifies it. I'm gonna give it 4 of those little pin.
Oh yeah.
Out of 10. Kind of to what you were saying is just like I wish it was more coherent. There was a lot of ideas introduced, and I get when you're adapting from a book, there's only so much you can do. There's so much more you can do in written literature. Because you have the time, no one really cares how big a book is. You can sit down, like as long as you enjoy what's going on in the book, you can sit down and read that book, and it's something like you can start and stop whenever. With a movie, you have like a set amount of time that you've got to get everything across in. So it seemed like they were hitting on a lot of ideas that would have been in the book, but not. Basically trying to fit as many ideas in as they could without making sure that they were coherent and necessary. Like I said, there was a few shots here and there that I thought were good cinematography. As a whole, I thought the cinematography was a little bland. I can't really say much about the color correction or grading, just for the simple fact of it wasn't for the time period there wasn't a whole lot of that going on, especially in international films. From what I've been exposed to, at least, it looked washed out, but that was kind of the look that a lot of those movies had at the time.
Especially in Japan too.
Because
there's another movie called Ichi, the #1 Killer. It has the exact same look. As this movie. Like strong colors, but like the color grade is kind of off too.
Overall, that's really all I have to say about it. It was just a confusing mess of. I don't really recommend it either. That's what I came away with. It. I was like, man, what is we having me?
I apologize. By the ending of it, I felt so bad. But I was like, but this is why we kind of do the show, just to like see this stuff. But I was like, I'm telling you, I was mad. I was like, these assholes fucking set me off, man. Because I just kept thinking about that clip. I'll show you after we're done, of them just talking up this movie. I was like, you guys, like, this is the movie? Like, this shit? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. I was so mad. But it's just... It is what it is, If anybody has like different opinions, definitely let us know. Especially when it comes to like the underlying themes we might have been missing, and if it's also like disconnect from cultural disconnect too, definitely let us know. We don't want to be offensive or anything. That having more information. I don't think it'll really change the opinion for me, like the extent of the movie, but it might open up more like the underlying things that we're going for. If we knew maybe more behind the scenes,
maybe things would be a little more coherent. And I think reading a book for sure. That it's not like a must for me, but I will be interested to read the book to see how it translates. And but it's the main positive that came out of this show is like, we can't just keep watching movies we're interested in. We like. We have to see something outside the box, and that's a gamble. Even the movies we might be interested in, that's a gamble. We never know what's going to be good or bad. So so we just filling up our experience box. Like you said, comment below if you agree or disagree, or there's something that we don't have that's like a key element. Definitely let us know, because I'm still really fucking confused about this movie.
It's more confusing than the Green Knight, man.
Tell us if the hat looks good. I borrowed it from Uwe. If it doesn't, blame him. Because we were trying to figure out cap, no cap.
But we're not capping. This movie's not good.
No cap.
No cap.
This movie's not great. But I think that's like and subscribe.
Please.
Like and subscribe. But I think that's all we have for this episode. We're gonna go ahead and sign off. Eat your veggies.
I don't know. I mean, we can't make plans anymore because of fucking personal and professional reasons. It fucking sucks, but I hope it's not as long as before the hiatus.
Yeah.
And I'm not dead.
He's definitely not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is proof now.
Yeah. Well, all right. See you guys for the next episode.
See you.